Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Friday, August 26th, 2022, a little after 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a reverse aging health call at 9 p.m. tonight. Looking at a sunset just for a second, you forget your separateness. You are the sunset. That is the moment when you feel the beauty of it. But the moment you say that it is a beautiful sunset, you are no longer feeling it. You have come back to your separate, enclosed entity of the ego also. We run across, people leaving the body every day. Some of us somewhere on this planet. And it could be a friend, a relative, or someone's loved one. It is certain that one day we will leave these bodies. Death will arrive at our door, and it will come as a great surprise. Not always, though, because some people that I've been around know that they're, I guess you could put it this way, they're ready to go. They're ready to leave. They don't have any shortcomings or, things that they thought were unfinished. And none of us have a warning. So stop all your previous social habits and let down your guard and allow others to see and know the real person you are. We can learn how to open our hearts with a person we meet. This means learning how to let love in and share this bright light that we have inside of us with them. We have no idea how it may change their life or ours for the better. Just do it. Who knows? They could be our last opportunity to love. It's so vital, so vitally important that we seize this precious life. Death will be arriving on its own time schedule and not according to anyone's plans. 1 minute, your child is alive. The next minute, they are gone. This is the basic fact about this life. We leave the body, okay? It ends the minute we accept this, so the minute we accept this hardcore truth, every moment of our lives become emotionally rich and spiritually juicy. We discover a reverence for life, and we stop taking every breath for granted. The greater wisdom to keep in the parade of your life is that this too shall pass. Okay. It's like this becomes kind of a habit for us. Certain things that we get into in the morning before we get out of bed each morning. And there's a lot of these things that I do. You sit and feel the reality of impermanence. You ever done that? You sit and feel the reality of impermanence. So for about 10 minutes, feel how everything is impermanent. Feel this deep truth in your bones. Nothing and no one in this world is going to remain here forever. Let it penetrate your head, heart, and gut. This is a very ancient meditation practice. Doing it for 3 weeks in a row will transform your life in the most amazing ways. There is a deep emotional and spiritual release when we realize how everything is impermanent. Notice how we become different when we realize everything around us will one day be gone. Try to remain aware of the impermanence of everything throughout your day, and you will discover the greatest freedom arising within you. You'll naturally start tapping into your deepest connection so that divine essence, which continues after these bodies are gone, when this occurs by itself, we will always be appreciating this incredible, deeply eternal love of existence. Accepting our physical mortality is one of the greatest spiritual practices we can take on, as we embrace the fact that nothing is permanent in this world. A sacred humility takes over. The over-demanding ego is embarrassed as it sees the futility of its super important plans. Only through this humble approach to existence can we find stillness. Spiritual freedom and enlightenment. Only through this humble approach to existence can we find stillness, spiritual freedom, and enlightenment. All other non-humble spiritual paths have some sneaky ego still hiding and holding on in the background. Misery nourishes your ego. That's why you see so many miserable people in this world. The basic central point is the ego, Osa. Misery nourishes our egos. That's why we see so many miserable people in this world. Death is the most fierce and deeply penetrating spiritual teacher that we can have. It will not let our ego escape alive. Death will always be waiting around the next corner, ready to wipe our entire life clean. Death will remove all material possessions from us, all wounds, all people, all our financial problems and future plans. It is guaranteed that one day, everything will be removed from our grasp. No matter how safe we think we are, this truth, hard truth, remains. And perhaps because it has the most profound purpose for our spiritual growth. Death forces us to remain awake. We must choose to always appreciate this human life we are given. We have to find reverence, otherwise we suffer. Knowing how very fragile this life is, we become kind to everything that's alive. By remembering our mortality, we are not so quick to getting angry at our loved ones, nor become distant, judgmental, or critical with them. We tend to forgive everyone who has wronged us more quickly and return to loving the real heart and soul connection that we do have. With the awareness that death is approaching, we become more gentle on ourselves, instantly dropping any hard, heavy energy that we may be carrying. We tend to deal with any leftover skeletons hiding in our closet and embrace those things we are avoiding. We remember that we came here to heal ourselves, and so we stop protecting our hearts from opening up to others. We become radically honest with ourselves and others because we just never know when it's our turn to go. So I invite everybody to do something truly radical this week. Share with those who are still with you today how you honestly feel. It may be challenging. Yet tell them what is going on inside you. Reveal everything and clear off your emotional plate. Be free to say anything you cannot speak about or say. You just don't know when your best friend's family member or child will die, do you? Let them know how much you actually love them. Rise above any social games you are playing. Stop being afraid of being ridiculed or getting rejected. Take the risk to celebrate your lives and enjoy your short, precious time here together. You truly don't know when it is going to come to a quick end. Man has lost one quality, the quality of zestfulness. And without zest, what is life? Just waiting for death. It can't be anything else. Only with zest do we live. Otherwise, we vegetate. Osho. There's only one thing you can do to transcend death. Embrace it. With welcoming it fully, you will eventually find your way to real inner peace. This acceptance does not mean to start taking more apathetic actions in your life. This is about finding more reverence in everything. Everything is sacred when we discover this tremendous appreciation for the simple things, like this breath that is still flowing through our lungs. You'll see the fear of living and dying quickly dissolves. If we can fully embrace death, we can totally live life. Many of us run. We don't like to talk about it. Depressing, scary. So we ignore it. We push it in the closet. When we have a deep reverence for this life, we naturally take advantage of every moment to feel that we are alive. We finally arrive into this precious now moment of our life where all the puzzle pieces fit in and everything comes to perfection. We can truly rest here. It is the only place. We can let go of it all and fall into resonance with our true spiritual nature. Take this moment to feel into the spiritual essence inside your bodies. Feel that energy that will remain when your body is gone. Can you feel this eternal energy? The infinite self is here. And if you can find it and reconnect to it, you can connect to it all day. You'll soon realize that heaven is already here now. You are heaven, the God within that body. The spiritual effervescence will expand in you and send bubbles of light-filled joy into your heart. Open your life to these bubbles, and you wonder why you were pretending to be so worried, fearful, and concerned about everything in your life. The greatest courage is to drop the mind aside. The bravest man is who can see the world without the barrier of the mind, just as it is. It is tremendously different, utterly beautiful. There is nobody who is inferior, and there is nobody who is superior. There are no distinctions. Osho. Another technique to realize, you are an infinite being. You will never die, is to pretend you just died. Breathe in the moment. Breathe in this moment as if this was your very last breath. Lay your body down on the bed and imagine that this is your final moment of life. You are breathing your last breaths of this life. And soon there will be no more. View all the important scenes from your life and see what truly matters. Your body will, of course, continue to breathe for you. Just let the air enter as slowly and deeply as possible. Fall into the quiet valley after every exhaltation. For as long and deep as you can. After a few minutes of reviewing your life, stop all mind activity and relax into the deepest point of stillness that you can find. Follow these meditations, and you'll find a sense of completion with your past and a deeper acceptance of your future. The more you practice them, like lying on the bed and acting as if you have left or are about to, the more you practice them, the better your life will become. You'll find that there is no more anxiety about anything or anyone anymore. You'll realize that there is only this moment of life, and this very precious moment is all that we have. So you have fun. Be playful. Remember, you are an eternal being who will never, ever, ever, ever die. So don't take anything of this world too seriously. This single intention will allow you to totally enjoy your entire human life journey while it's still here. God is there only if you surrender. Surrender makes anything God. Surrender gives you the eyes. And everything that is brought to these eyes becomes divine. Do not waste your life for that which is going to be taken away. Trust life. Trust God. If you trust, only then can you drop your knowledge. Only then can you put your mind aside. And with trust, something immense opens up. Then this life is no longer ordinary life. It becomes full of God, overflowing. Or so. All the greatest treasures are hidden behind that which we wouldn't want to be with. All the wisdom, compassion, and treasures are within. So where are you going to hide it? Pamela Wilson. Many of us would like to have 100% guarantee that everything is going to be okay throughout our lives. We want a golden contract from God that says our entire future will be safe from harm, free from pain, and that we will always manifest our every desire and dream. We want to know for sure that this life is always working out for us in our favor, and we are guaranteed a perfect, flawless future. The only problem with this is that we also want a life that is brimming with excitement and overflowing with new fascinating adventures every day. We want a future that is free from boredom and filled with a spiritual richness that we are forever bathing in the healing qualities of our very souls. Now, the real question is, would all of this be possible if there was no such thing as fear? If and when you've done your inner research and looked deeply into your personal relationship with fear, it might seem to be one of those slippery issues that you are either trying to cope with, ignore, transcend, or avoid at all costs. Many of us were told in our childhood that if we want to be happy, we need to conquer our fears. Yet nobody actually told us how to do it. Probably because they hadn't accomplished this amazing feat themselves. Perhaps because most everyone has forgotten the truth. That we are divine, eternal, spiritual beings who will never, ever, ever die. If we are still waiting for that magical formula that will free us from fear, today is that special day that you've been waiting lifetimes for. In a few weeks from now, you can be totally free from fear and get ready to get rid of, let go of phobias, doubts, and immature childish insecurities forever. Prepare yourself for a new relationship with fear that will make you start living the most amazing, exciting life. Your mind is about to experience a miracle. You're going to learn how to replace all the fearful chemicals in your brain so that you become authentically fearless in every area of your life. That which can be taken away from you is not worth keeping, and that which cannot be taken away from you. Why should one be afraid of its being taken away? It cannot be taken away. There is no possibility. You cannot lose your real treasure. Ocean. The first action towards fearlessness begins with taking a baby step into trusting the energy of fear. This trusting energy comes from a spiritually advanced understanding that we live in a divine, benevolent, conscious universe that never makes a mistake and has no room for coincidences. This all-intelligent, life-giving universe is always on our side and knows exactly what ingredients are needed for our enlightenment. By accepting this paradigm into every cell in our bodies, we can start to understand how fear is our greatest teacher and best friend. By knowing the loving universe is always working in your face and in your favor, we can relax more, take the risk to snuggle up to our fear, and get a closer look underneath it just to see what it truly is and why it is actually there. And becoming truly fearless, we will need to develop the daily practice of deep, authentic curiosity with ourselves. We will need to explore why we are afraid of whatever we are afraid of. What is this special avoidance that is hooked deep into our guts and heart really all about? Is it only through a childlike curiosity and true heartfelt inquiry that we can turn our worries into wonders and catch a glimpse of what it actually is that we are running from? Looking inside, behind, or underneath your fear for the first time may seem life-threatening, or feel as if you're about to enter a secret cellar door that's been hidden for hundreds of years in the back of your great-grandparents' first home. This is the right place to start. Somewhere that feels very familiar and familiarly frightening and instantly makes you want to run and hide. Be aware. The mind is a genius at avoiding what it needs to confront. We have all sorts of strategies and tricks at getting distracted from peering into places which make us uncomfortable. Be always indefinitely patient and insanely persistent whenever you approach your fear. Perhaps you're a bit of an analytical and wondering, how does one actually look underneath a fearful feeling or thought or scary image that is stuck in the mind? Well, you're going to need an extra dose of childlike imagination for this journey. Roll back the clock a few years and recall what life was like when you were a child. Do you remember how you played and played all day long? Your creativity and imagination never ended all day long. Perhaps you were into playing fantasy games, like saving the innocent princess from the kingdom fire-breathing dragon, You had the power to imagine anything and everything. And you still have that power today. Now, you might have even imagined that you became a grown-up adult person who lost touch with their childish power of imagination. And remember, imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited while imagination encircles the world. Albert Einstein. Maybe when we were young, we had an imaginary friend who talked to us all the time, yet nobody else could hear or see them. Or perhaps you were a weirder child and wondered what a banana would say if it could speak, or how the sunset colors would taste if you could lick them. Whatever fantasies or creative games we played back then, we are still playing them on some level today. They're just more adult-like, serious games that we are playing on the inside. Our minds are still making up all sorts of stories about everything and everyone, including ourselves. Our imaginations are creating everything in our lives. They are responsible for creating every fear that we have. Since it has created all of our fears, it also has the power to stop creating them and invent something totally brand new. Our imagination is always on, always forming new movies inside. We still have the amazing power of imagination working every day inside of us. The real question is, are we willing to step beyond any normal, ordinary versions of reality that we've created and discover a place inside where anything is possible? Our imagination is extremely powerful. Just notice what happens inside your mouth when you imagine biting into a super spicy jalapeno taco covered in hot sauce. The salivary glands start firing up as the body reacts to whatever the mind sees inside. When you get hooked in imagining something you don't want to see, cannot accept, cannot understand or relax with, then your body continues to react in flight or fight mode each time. After a few repetitions, fearful chemicals can instantly form inside your brain whenever you have that same thought pattern again. You ever had something, ate something, drank something, right? And you had a violent reaction. You got sick. It was just horrible. And every single time you came over that again, you would have that same feeling. So you wouldn't eat it or drink it. So I invite you to realize right now that your mind is responsible for creating all of your fears. Every terrifying, heart-beating, panic-driven, life-freezing sensation you've ever had came completely from your imagination. The trust is your mind is making a movie all the time. It seems very real, yet it is still just a movie inside the screen of your mind. That which is real is what never changes. The constant stream of pure white light, awareness, in the back of the cinema show. This light is what's projecting all the images you're seeing on the screen. If and when you want to become authentically fearless, you must choose to take full responsibility for your inner movie show and get in touch with what your deepest, darkest, fearful movie truly is. This is not just about getting over the Nightmare on Elm Street horror movie, yet dealing with the real fears which are blocking you from creating the life you want to live. This fearless commitment to yourself is that you will stop avoiding fear for the next 21 days of your life and instead explore it with a childlike curiosity. Perhaps you're afraid of intimacy, giving public speeches, great heights, insects, dogs, huge crowds, a tight elevator space. Take a few minutes right now and write out, you can do this in your mind, transcribe it later. Write out an extensive list of everything that makes you cringe and want to run, scream, or hide. Include everything you can think of until you are empty. Take as much time as you need in making your fearless. It can be one of the most liberating things any of us will ever do yet this year. Courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the judgment that something else is more important than fear. Ambrose Redmond. All the heroes throughout history, when they saw their comrades or other people in danger, their lives were in danger, they were scared to death. Okay? But then, because of their fear drove them to be courageous, and so forth, they saved their lives. After you've completed your fearless, take your top fear and imagine the solution to releasing this one fear is inside that old dark cellar hidden in the backyard of your great-grandparents' first home. Use your imagination. You're actually opening the creaking, dusty, dark cellar door right now and seeing the long, dark tunnel inside it. You have no clue how long this dark tunnel is or when you'll reach the end. Your inner child is curious, though, and you step inside and start walking down the long passageway. That happens to contain the most amazing secret treasure waiting at the end just for you. Now, you feel courageous, though, and willing to trust in the experience of exploring your fear. So no matter how frozen you may feel inside, always remember that approaching your fear is a very magical and empowering thing to do. Every fear is created from your imagination, and you are always in charge of what happens. So just relax. Enjoy the scary ride. You may want to rely on your inner light to guide you through the darkness and trust in the fear exploration process. This is why a deep curiosity is needed to constantly shift you into excitement mode. The most amazing treasures in this life are hiding in the last place we would think to look. As we reach the very end of our dark passageway, we see someone is sitting there meditating in front of a white candle. An odd sensation of trust comes over your body as you feel this person is a very old familiar friend you once knew. You look into their eyes and you see how extremely happy they are to meet you again. You know in your heart that this old friend is the wildest, craziest, fearless person you have ever known. This person is your new fearless friend, and they are here to guide you into fearlessness. Now, your fearless friend has never ever felt any fear about the thing or situation that you are afraid of. They are actually deeply in love with whatever it is you are afraid of. And they are actually looking forward to doing that thing which you fear. Now, your fearless friend seems to have a spiritual experience doing the thing you fear. Notice the tremendous joy, awe, and pleasure they have on their face just thinking about doing what you fear. Now, you both are now back in your own cozy home, and you're getting to know each other more personally, sitting down with your friend on the couch, listening to their creative story about why they love doing the thing you fear. You are becoming the best of friends. This person loves hanging out with you and helping you to overcome your fear. Listen to all the fun, wild, and crazy stories they have. Notice how scary, exciting, and liberating it is for you to hang out with your new fearless friend. Explore how they think, how they feel about life, and what their average day is like. Feel how they are naturally relaxed and at peace with whatever it is that you fear. We are what we pretend to be, so we must be careful about what we pretend to be. Kurt Vonnegut. We are what we pretend to be, so we must be careful about what we pretend to be. Spend lots of deep quality time interviewing your new friend. Practice stepping into their body, feeling what it's like to be totally fearless. How do they feel getting out of bed each morning? What is their attitude about life and death? What does a fearless heart feel like? Capture as many juicy details as you can until you have a strong sense of what it's like to feel the fearlessness that is inside their bodies. Experience how their body responds with joy, pleasure, or deep awe whenever they're doing the thing you are afraid of doing. The final step to this amazing exercise is where the real fearless work begins. In our real daily lives, a few minutes after we wake up every morning, and just before we fall asleep every night, spend some time with your fearless friend. Do this for at least 21 days. It may be just a few minutes each morning and evening, yet be consistent with meeting your fearless friend right before you fall asleep and right after you wake up in the morning. Give them a hug. Tell them you love them, and feel what it's like to be together every day and every night. You can even plan to meet at some common place in your dreams at night. Have an imaginary cup of tea together. You can hang out all night long if you want to, and do tons of fun, fearful things together. Be adventurous. Be creative. Get to know them intimately and engage in some deep, interesting conversations with them about life. Look deep into the eyes of your fearless friend every time you meet. Feel what it's like to live in their head and soul. Explore the actual realness of this newfound relationship until it feels as real as how your mother and father are for you. Every morning and evening, keep practicing and practicing. Fake it until you make it. Experience what their fearless mind feels like. You may even try breathing their fearless energy into your heart and seeing how it may change how your body feels. If and when you make the time to create a real relationship with your fearless friend every day for 21 days, something miraculous will occur. Naturally, organically, you will inherit all their fearless qualities and become free from any fear you may have had. So you enjoy the journey. The moment you start seeing life as non-serious, a playfulness, all the burden on your heart disappears. All the fear of death, of life, of love, everything disappears. One starts living with a very light weight or almost no weight, so weightless one can fly in the open sky. Also, you cannot be happy without a serious mind. With a festive mind, you can be happy. You cannot be happy with a serious mind. With a festive mind, you can be happy. Take this whole life as a myth, as a story. It is one, but once you take it this way, you will not be unhappy. Also, ask yourself, right? Are you having fun yet? Whatever you're enjoying your life today, right? Or not, depends on one thing. The attitude of super gratitude. The attitude of super gratitude. If you wish to enjoy this lifetime immensely, start by welcoming the enlightened, festive mindset. This means you are choosing to see every situation as opportunity to experience more love, inner peace, divinity, and fun. You'll be surprised how many opportunities you'll have in the next 24 hours to smile, sing, dance, laugh, relax, be silly, and truly celebrate this moment of your life. This exuberant festive consciousness will liberate you from a world of suffering and become your golden highway to enlightenment. When you take yourself and others or this world too seriously, it's like gripping too tightly onto the steering wheel of your life. You ever white-knuckled things? Maybe you've been driving somewhere, it's a snowstorm, whatever, and you're just gripping onto that steering wheel, and your knuckles look white, right? Your mind becomes afraid to lose control, so it forces the body to live in this subtle state of anxiety, fear, and tension. The serious mindset believes that relaxation is the enemy, for it could loosen your grip and cause your life to take a serious wrong turn. The mind may even think that if you started letting go of the wheel just a little bit, you could lose your job, become poor, have to live on the street, be completely abandoned, unloved, and eventually die. This ridiculous fear-based, over-controlling mindset is the real culprit here. The serious mind is what is causing us to feel entangled in the perpetual cycle of emotional dramas, which essentially cuts off the flow of joy, our life force. If we want to manifest more pain and suffering, then we continue to hold on tighter to the steering wheel of your life. Try a little experiment. For 30 seconds, imagine that you are tightening your mind's grip on your life and getting on that super serious highway at seriously anxious speeds. How does your heart feel? What would you feel like doing this for 24 hours a day, 12 months in a row? Now, you may begin to understand that if you want your world to become a more enlightened playground, filled with joy, laughter, and immense freedom, then simply loosen those white knuckles from the wheel. Let yourself get off the competitive speeding highway and relax at every rest stop you pass by. The lazy land of letting go is nearby, and you'll soon experience how fun it is to sit back, trust the journey, and relax about everything in your life. Now, finding the exits that lead you to the enlightened festive mindset is simply a choice you get to make in each moment. And you just choose to let go of all seriousness. There is a serious grumpster gremlin inside us who doesn't want to believe that we are free to have a choice. It wants us to think that we are stuck in some miserable patterns that we cannot change. We see seriousness as a gremlin that thrives on fear. It is always afraid of trusting life and thinks that through being hard, stubborn, and controlling with life, it will get what it wants. It feels that it gains power by pushing away the soft, sweet, loving, receptive energy that brings new opportunities to love others. Now, this gremlin believes that staying strong and focused, we will remain successful, safe, and in control. Yet, how do we actually feel when we are around someone else who is super serious about their life? Do we feel nurtured, connected, and loved? Do we really want to be around them at all? We can see that this over-controlling attitude is out of balance and causing all sorts of suffering to occur. The secret is understanding the elements of this life and how the soft ocean water will always turn the hardest rock into sand. It may take many years for some people to realize this. Yet once they discover the real power in the playful, soft approach to life, they'll never go back. Perhaps the best part is that it's very enjoyable to liberate ourselves from the serious gremlin energy. It feels like we're getting rid of a 250-pound backpack and grew 25-foot pair of eagle wings. We literally feel like we can fly to the highest peaks in the sky. The great lightness and freedom is all ours now, and it starts by deciding to have fun doing whatever you do today. Think of one fun thing that you'd like to do. What do you need to say no to so that you can say yes to taking on this fun activity? Life is short. We know that. So don't let this one slip on by again. Start having fun with your lives and everything you do. In time, we will discover the most liberating, enlightened consciousness, finding its roots in us. It's surprising what can happen in our lives when we start to consciously choose the festive mindset over living in serious gremlinville. When you make fun, right? When you make fun, your number one response in life, when you make fun, your number one response in this life, the enlightened festive mindset will be following you everywhere. Imagine what your heart will feel like after you have been smiling and laughing for the next 24 hours. Now, you might get a bellyache from laughing, yet it will be very hard for anyone to bring you down. By laughing, you are releasing any old serious vibes from your body, which makes it super easy to liberate yourself from the time-bound illusionary prison of the mind. Give your life over to joy and laughter And you'll begin living in a timeless state of mind where there truly is no pressure on your being at all. And it's funny because you can begin laughing at any experience, any situation or encounter in your life today. It's all a matter of freeing your mind from the limited time-bound perspective it had and understanding that we are all eternal beings with limitless powers playing in an infinite field of highly conscious energy called the universe. As we practice prioritizing lightness over seriousness, timelessness over time, and softness over hardness, we will see that no matter how seemingly dramatic our life situations are, we are choosing a higher path. This lighter, more playful consciousness will allow us to rise above the dense clouds of the political scheming minds in the world and see light years beyond them all. Nobody on this planet is requiring us to remain trapped in the serious world of limitation, stuckness, and form. We can be sincere in our hearts without being serious. We can just acknowledge that seriousness may be very real and true for other people, which you have compassion for them. Yet you don't have to buy into their belief. You can choose to remain detached, alive, and free. It's always our choice whether we live in a serious world or a non-serious world. Once we realize that we are spiritual beings who will never die, we start to see matter and things differently. We begin to see that the physical world is not really the real world. It is simply the material conduit that allows us to learn, grow, and evolve as spiritual beings. The world lets us have experiences so that we can realize the truth of who we really are. The truth is that we are not this body, mind, thoughts, perceptions, or any of these experiences. Who we are is beyond all time, space, and form. We are the eternal spiritual essence residing in pure consciousness who is completely unscathed by the apparent harshness of this world. The more often we can reflect on the truth of who we are, the more fun life naturally becomes. We can give ourselves full permission to play, achieve nothing, and just make every moment enjoyable. When we are in a state of lightness and love, the way we see reality will never, ever be the same. Our every breath becomes a gateway to the divine. With each inhale, we can take in this great non-serious freedom, and when we exhale, we can relax even deeper into a peaceful state of bliss. This simple, open-minded, and enlightened breathing technique will expand our hearts and souls to an entirely new dimension of consciousness. It will bring out that ultimate lover of life inside of us and turn us into a true bunch of funaholics. When we wake up and experience the truth that we are an infinite being who cannot die, we realize that this life is one wild, exotic game where we create all the rules in it. And it's a metaphysical game on a spiritual playground where we can explore our souls, enjoy our five senses, and evolve in love. We have already been chosen to play the role of this world's greatest stage performer. So don't you think it's time to start enjoying the play? It's really not important what the name of this play is, what scene we're in, what stage we're on, what our budget is, or what roles the other actors should be playing. It doesn't even matter what needs to happen for us to win this game or who is laughing last on stage in the end. The most important thing is that we are learning how to see beyond the stage, taking this game less seriously and opening our hearts to trusting that everything is perfect as it is right now. I will join you in the meditation. I'll return to close us out.